Hi, I'm Quina, and recently I stumbled upon Mr. Berry's Why Also Failed to Become Mainstream. An interesting video to say the least. And today I'm gonna be reacting to this and give my own opinion on this topic.
9 years ago, a post was made on the subreddit r/OSU game, signifying OSU becoming mainstream. In a screenshot showing that the OSU category is having about 23,000 concurrent viewers, which compared today
Hello,
is
Mr. Berry.
quite bittersweet because unless MREC or BTMC is streaming, we can barely reach a number that's over at 2,000 or even 1,000 at times. This
I'm actually viewing the Twitch page right now, and we only have like 746 viewers. So that's very low on Twitch right now.
means that OSU has failed to maintain its mainstream status if it ever was mainstream.
It was never mainstream, to be honest.
Further investigation, aka a quick Google search, at the time reveals that a large contribution to OSU's popularity during this time period was due to Cookie Z, now known as Shigetora, returning to OSU as he streamed himself playing OSU on Twitch. So what happened between 9 years ago and present day that caused OSU to basically fall off as the mainstream rhythm game? An obvious answer would be due to players quitting the game. As the game grows older, so do players. See, there's this thing called moving on once you've grown tired of something, and that's what people do
Using
after
some kind of
achieving
auto
fame, recognition, or maybe satisfaction that the game could have brought them. They simply quit and move on with new, different endeavors in their life. Another
Come to think about player quitting, my take on this is not they are actually quitting. They just play the game less because for someone the game is just makes sense for them, and it provides this like rush in them when they trying to play and trying to pass a map. But then on the other hand, I can see that a lot of players are just quitting because they don't like the game anymore. Specifically, they don't like the game and they feel like it is a waste of time to just clicking circles on the screen.
reason is also due to Twitch's departure from South Korea, in which many of the top players and the most popular players in the community resided. Therefore, they're unable to stream. As Twitch
About the situation with Twitch in Korea, I think that it is quite not the main reason, because sure, Cookie Z is based on South Korea. He is not the center of OSU anymore. He isn't. And we created some kind of small little bubbles of notable player that they have to do something very extraordinary on their stream, or they have to establish some kind of real life extraordinary bullshit, or just being famous from the start. So I think it is not big of a reason due to Twitch not stop being in South Korea.
which remains a streaming giant that overshadows.
Although I can see that's a problem, because there are actually some good players that are based in South Korea and easily can gain like a few thousand of viewers at a time.
other
like
streaming platforms
Flying Tuna
when you
or
think
something.
of the word streaming. Not to be confused with Kick, where the main concept is public harassment and nudity. Well, on that thought, Twitch also does the same thing. Cookiezi is undoubtedly OSU's main backbone when it comes to peak popularity, as
Yeah, it is just like a pre-2020 period that Cookiezi is the backbone. I think nowadays we are relying on MREC and BTMC, to be honest. It is no longer than just Cookiezi or Shige.
during his returning stream alone, he peaked at around 14,000 viewers, just spamming ayaya as he plays a Genshin map. The next content creator in line that supports OSU's popularity would be BTMC, a Genshin streamer.
He picked the worst picture of him, but okay.
But just because some guy on the internet streams a game to thousands of people doesn't mean that it's mainstream. As now in 2024, people just think of OSU as some ripoff of Friday Night Funkin', Robeat, Project Sekai, and Taiko no Tatsujin. Yeah, you get the point. Even
I mean, right from the start, OSU that we know and love about is already ripped off. OSU is from Otedan, I believe. I believe that was the pronunciation. And Taiko from Taiko no Tatsujin. Cash not even the original like title, I believe. And Mania just like all VSRG in one place. So
Fortnite is a bigger rhythm game than OSU, and that's not even the main game mode. Fortnite is Fortnite. See, with other rhythm games, they usually stick.
actually, he brings up Robeats and Fortnite, which I want to counter here, because they are not the main game mode of the game itself. So it is gaining all the attention from the base game, and then when the layer of rhythm game comes along, they just become popular as it is. Like Fortnite, we have like a bajillion person playing the game. Like why? And Robeats is based on Roblox, which also have like a bajillion kids playing every day. So picking that two example is kind of makes sense in a way that it is rhythm game. It is partly rhythm game, but then I wholeheartedly don't agree with him because of how the player base is largely different in those two games.
To one gimmick, the most popular one being VSRG, vertical scrolling rhythm games. However, with OSU, it has 3 other game modes besides from its main game mode being a name trainer, right? There's Taiko, which copies Taiko no Tatsujin, Mania, which copies piano tiles, and Cash.
Mania didn't copy Piano Tile. Piano Tile was way after other titles. BJS, I believe. I don't remember the game. I'm just put on the screen now for what the games are.
The Beat, which is not exactly a rhythm game mode. Alright, sure, OSU just ripped off of other rhythm games, so how come not a lot of people know about it? One reason is due to accessibility. OSU is a game that is beloved by its community, yet one that remains firmly niche in the world of mainstream gaming. But why? It's free, it doesn't require fancy equipment. Hell, even this guy plays the game with his feet. So why is OSU so irrelevant? It's because it's hard to understand how the game works from the perspective of someone who has no clue what OSU is. See, if you see games like Friday Night Funkin', you can immediately recognize that, oh, This is just like piano tiles. I play piano tiles. Even my grandma's played piano tiles. It's very easy to grasp its concept and how to play. Like you can see a pro FNF player play a really hard chart, and you can immediately understand how the game works because it's built off of already established concepts like piano tiles, VSRG.
Bro, stop just being piano tile, lol. But okay, I know that makes sense the most because piano tiles are when the VSRGs really becoming a big hit to the outer world rather than just being confined mostly in Japan and South Korea's.
When any game builds itself on an already popular concept, it's pretty easy to become mainstream. OSU Standard, the main game mode, struggles with communicating how it works. You see circles.
Yeah, this is quite a problem. I once introduced OSU to my friend who is a producer, and his initial reaction with the game, he said that, do I have to press like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 while it just being like the combo numbering system of the game? But then without those numberings, it is become much harder to play the game itself.
And then another circle closing in. Okay, you can guess that it's the timing window if you're familiar with how rhythm.
Bro, using the RTX tracking thing, lol, it's moving around so bad.
Game works. But like, what do you do with it? And then there's this long worm thing that extend from the circle. Like, what am I supposed to do with it? All of these confusions can easily be fixed if people just play the tutorial, but no one bothers to, because unless it's spoon-fed to them, they're not gonna bother seeking out how to play the game. Even
to be fair, OSU did try to install itself the easier map, and including in there is the tutorial. But then I think it should be bundled within the game when it's initially downloaded to force these players to just like, wow, I have this one map and I don't know what to do anything else.
even though one of the main contributors to OSU made a really simple and intuitive tutorial on how to play the game. Bishop. For example, let's use Smash. You can see 2 characters and a platform. That's it. The game communicates how it works using primal fear. Fallen. If the character you control falls off the platform, you die. And then,
in my opinion, when myself see a Smash match, I didn't care much about the concept. Yeah, I mean the concept is really easy to understand that sometimes I don't even bother to think about it. But yes, in the case of Smash, it is really easy to understand, like, fundamentally how the game works.
you lose. So what do? And also Smash opens with a cinematic telling you how to play the game, something that is missing in OSU.
Almost every game do have this kind of tutorial. But then I didn't try all these older games from way before. But then I also tried some arcade, which evolved quite a long time, like My. They all have a tutorial when you first register an account. So I skip it, by the way, because I already saw the game too much on my feed. Thank you, YouTube. I already understand how the game works, and I just play it.
OSU, you're immediately presented with the main menu, consists of solo, multi, editor, option, and quit game. First,
Bro, even labeling the mode wrong. Oh my god.
First impressions are really important for someone that's completely new. Being shown all that can be a bit overwhelming, especially for a rhythm game. And like mainstream games that ease player in with like storytelling or intuitive mechanics, OSU just...
I hate storytelling, by the way. I do play Arknight, I do play Genshin, but I just skip all of the story quests. I just want the action.
gives you the maps, and that's it. And throw shit at you like hit circles, sliders, spinners, stream, blah blah blah. For someone that's completely new, it's a lot to process. Most mainstream games are built around simple and reliable concepts. Shoot the bad guy, drive fast to win, build a fort, knight. OSU's different. At its core, it's a rhythm game, but it lacks the tangible concept of being a rhythm game. In OSU, you're clicking circles to the beat, and to a new players, it doesn't instantly connect to anything that's familiar to them, because OSU is a unique game.
I have somewhat a counter argument that in VSRG types game, you are essentially just smashing a lot of keys to the rhythm, and even sometimes it doesn't even on the rhythm. Now with OSU standard, you are just like clicking circles to the beat. That's it. It's just being like the hit circles are everywhere on the screen, not just like a small tiny little bars on the bottom side of your monitor.
As a concept, there is no pre-existing games like OSU, and then there's a...
OSU was started from Dan, and fair enough to say that that initial game in the Nintendo 3DS, I think, is not very popular too. But somehow Peppy decided to try to port that onto the PCs. And now we have OSU.
Skill gap. Watching professional OSU players is both mesmerizing and intimidating. Most people start on normal difficulty, and usually it's comprehensive to an extent.
No, these days many new players are like starting at like, for some reason they are playing 7-star in the multi-lobbies. I don't know why.
Rhythm and a fair amount of object density for players to learn and not get confused by. And then some guy in the OSU chat tell them to play the big black, and then they're presented with this. Like, what is this? Explaining OSU isn't really easy either. Like, how do you describe a game where you click circles to the music and then not end up just saying, oh, it's like an aim trainer? It lacks
To be fair, the introduction to OSU is fairly simple, and it just makes sense in a way that it should have made sense. But then everyone trying to they saw how easy it is to understand, because it is just clicking circle to the beat on the screen. They try to complicate that matters. They actually try to complicate that matters. Like, do you have to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your keyboard? Fuck no. They always trying to complicate that stuff to the point that suddenly the game being really hard to understand.
narrative, relatable characters, or a traditional progressing system. OSU does have a leveling system, but it doesn't do anything besides from showing how much time you've spent playing the game, aka how much of a loser you are.
It does have PP.
And all of that combined makes it harder to hook the general audience. Oh, the game even has a mascot, Pippi, but she's really useless aside from being used as the subject for art contests. And
yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't even know beside the art contest stuff, all the mascot in OSU is doing absolutely nothing. And even like those do have an extensive amount of information about them as a mascot, the game mode itself doesn't have many players are playing it regularly for some reason.
The OSU World Cup, yeah, we got that far. We have an OSU World Cup. But despite that, OSU still fails at being mainstream, technically being a level of an esport. Not like major League of Legends esport, but like, you know, Smash. Whenever there's an OWC or a high-profile OSU tourney, it can pull in numbers that rivals Smash tourneys. And Smash is an esport. Unlike traditional sports or mainstream esports like League or CSGO, the gameplay isn't really spectator-friendly. It requires the knowledge of knowing how the game works.
Yes, the game itself doesn't friendly to spectators unless you already have an idea of how the game works.
If you're just someone that dragged along by your friend to like watch this OWC thing, you're not gonna understand what's going on the screen. You're most likely to get confused, like, oh, what the hell is going on? And why are the commentators going crazy over this?
To be fair, sometimes we don't even know what the players are doing. Yeah.
There's actually a player that made a forum post about why OSU is a niche game. And in their conclusion, it's because OSU caters too much to the people that are already familiar with the game and how it works. And that's really sweet on OSU's part, making sure that our experience as players are further and further being improved as time goes on. But it doesn't help the general audience that have no idea what OSU is, or people that might be interested in OSU because they have no idea what the hell is going on. That's why OSU will not move outside of its niche area, and I don't think it needs to.
Alright, and thank you, Mr. Berry, for this clip. Yeah, I think all of the reason he gave is pretty good, I should say. Not that entirely I can agree with him, but all the main reasons are just truly need to be fixed within the OSU community. Like, for example, with the introduction stuff, you should have some way to force feed the introduction, or else people not gonna understand the game at all. Like every single other rhythm game I play, like Figros or even Voace, they do have some stuff to force feed you with the tutorial. Although you can skip it, of course, if you are like a veteran, just re-download the game. Alright, so with that, that's my reaction to Barry's videos about why OSU failed to become mainstream. And if you have any comment, just hit me down below. I will try to answering everything that I can. And hope you got a lovely day. Thanks for your watching.